take the urgent question first. The urgent question is standing in the name of Fataya Abdulaziz, Member of Parliament for Savlugu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to ask the Minister for Gender and Social Protection the transitional measures the ministry has instituted for caterers who were engaged under the previous administration school feeding program but have had their contracts terminated by the current government, particularly those who were verified to have delivered satisfactory performance. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the ministry, as part of its payment process for caterers of the Ghana School Feeding Program, validates data every term for cooking and non-cooking days for each caterer before payment is done. The process is as follows. The Ghana School Feeding District Desk Officers collates and sends data on cooking and non-cooking days of each caterer in their district through the regional coordinator of the school feeding program to the National School Feeding Secretariat for verification and validation. The data will then be verified against cooking and non-cooking days data received from the Ghana Education Service from their district offices through the GES regional offices. Mr. Speaker, so far, the National School Feeding Secretariat has received data on cooking and non-cooking cooking days for 10 regions. Caterers who cooked in the second term of 2024-2025 academic year should therefore be rest assured of prompt payment after verification is completed. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Any supplementary?
Yes, Mr. Speaker. Speaker, I want to ask the Minister on what basis did you terminate their contracts? We want to know the basis for which you terminated those contracts. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, even though this could have come as a question on its own, I will respond to the honorable member by saying that the contracts were not terminated. The contracts expired. And once the contract is expired, we don't need to assume that caterers were cooking and that it will continue. And so we took steps to make sure that it was sanitized. Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker. I want to prompt Madam Minister. Those caterers actually received letters.
Honorable Minister.
Honorable Minister. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. There is actually letters terminating contracts of those caterers. Please kindly check. Thank you. So I now go to my second question. At the time of terminating their contracts, they had cooked for a term that had not been paid. What plans are
Honorable
there to pay
member,
them?
please,
Yes.
the minister's answer is that the contracts are not terminated, but they are expired. So you can preface your question with at the time of expiration.
Thank you, Speaker. But I have evidence to termination, letters of termination from the ministry. And if you give me the opportunity, I'll bring those letters here later. Thank you, Speaker. Yeah. So may I go ahead with my second? Thank you, Speaker. At the time of terminating their contract, they had cooked for a term that has not been paid. What plans are there to pay them, and when will you pay them? Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. The letter that the honorable member is referring to is part of the process of sanitizing the system so that we don't leave anything for assumption. The response, Mr. Speaker, is that the ministry is committed to ensuring timely payments to caterers of the Ghana School Feeding Program. As part of the payment process, we rigorously validate data on cooking and non-cooking days for each caterer per term before disbursing funds. Mr. Speaker, the payment verification process, which is close to or the same as what I had earlier said, at the district level, the Ghana School Feeding Program's district desk officer compile and send cooking and non-cooking days of each caterer to their respective regional coordinators. Regional level, the regional coordinators then forward this data to the National School Feeding Secretariat for validation and verification. At the national level, this is submitted, the data is submitted and cross-referenced with cooking and non-cooking days records received from the Ghana Education Service, which also originates from the district level through their regional offices. Mr. Speaker, so far, as earlier said, the data has been received from 10 regions from the district school feeding desk officers and Ghana Education Service. Once validated, caterers who provided meals in term 2 of the 2024-2025 academic year will receive payment. Thank you very much.
Thank
Any
you,
question?
Speaker. I've just learned something new from Honorable Minister, and the new term is we now use for termination is sanitization. Thank you so much. I'll now go to my third question, Mr. Speaker. Now that the DCs are the ones selecting people, what systems are in place to ensure that the reassignment or recruitment of new caterers is free from political interference, nepotism, or regional balance, and based solely on merit and capacity? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Once again, I could come with the whole processes of selection, but then the school feeding program is no longer under the local government, but previously it used to be under local government, and so the DCs were the ones managing it. As we speak, no, school feeding has not always, sorry.
Please address the chair.
It has not always been under gender. It used to be under local government, and so was managed by the local government, that is the district chief executives. And so if you see the district chief executives involved, it is because of the decentralized systems that we are running. They are not the ones doing it. We have from the national level, the secretariat, and then we have the regional coordinators, we have the zonal coordinators, and then we have the school implementation committee, and then also we have the desk officers. And so the desk officers are in the assemblies, and so that is why it looks as if they are involved in it. Definitely, once the desk officer is recruited from there, they will have a role to play. Thank you very much.
Yes, Honorable Jerry Shai.
Speaker, thank you very much. Speaker, I want to respectfully ask the Honorable Minister, when is going to be the resumption of the caterers so that they start feeding our children?
Yes, Honorable Minister. The resumption of caterers.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. As we speak, the caterers have started cooking across the country, not in all the schools. We are ensuring that very soon, by the close of this month to next month, all schools within or across the country are being fed. The children are being fed. And so it's being rolled out. There are specific schools we can take you to, regions that have started cooking. You and I know the challenges that come with school feeding. And as much as possible, we are trying our best to make sure that it is clean and tidy.
Yes, Honorable Minority Leader.
Speaker, the minister at the dispatch box tells us that they are doing some verification. We know that these caterers operate in the informal sector. They took loans from money lenders. They took more loans from relatives. As I speak with a heavy heart because they are all over in our offices, helpless. Can you, Honorable Minister, tell this House these verification processes, when and how soon same will be completed for the payment to be effected to them, Honorable Minister?
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I can appreciate the concerns of the leader, and I'm sure that most members of this honorable House are going through same challenges. Even if the payment is made, you still have issues with the sustainability of the program. Previously, there were some bottlenecks, including the delays in payment and all that. As I stand here, it will not be prudent for me to say that I can cut short or cut corners in terms of the processes leading to the payment. So I have to follow the due process for the needed verification. That covers me, that covers them, and then we'll all be safe. My assurance, once again, to all caterers is that once you have cooked, it's verified, we will make sure that you receive your payment. And I'm also taking the needed steps to ensure that the payment comes once the report is ready. Thank you.
Yes.
Speaker, when the Honorable Minister was answering my question, one of your clerks at table was watching her with great admiration. Mr. Speaker, it was a female. It was a female.
As for Minority Leader, even the devil doesn't know the intention of a man. You are able to know the intention of those at the table. Please proceed to ask your question.
Honorable Minister, you have indicated that there is a process. This is a dispatch box of Parliament. You said there is a process for the recruitment of these caterers. Can you share with this House this process and how transparent this process has been in ensuring that equal opportunity is given to those with capacity and not partisan consideration?
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I can assure the Honorable Minority Leader that the process is as transparent as it can be. You and I know in this House, we all know in this House that school feeding has its own headaches. And, well, as much as possible, we are trying to ensure that we cure it. But we are not too much in a hurry to cure it, to ensure that whatever measures we are putting in place are sustained, throughout, and then improve on the quality as His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has promised. And so I can only assure you that to the best of our ability, it is as transparent as possible. And then the other thing is that we have data that we are working with. And so it went through verification to ensure that the schools really exist. If it will interest you to know, Mr. Speaker, that as we speak, there are petitions from caterers who cooked without approval from the Ghana School Feeding Secretariat. And because they cooked without the necessary approval, they've not been paid. And that one cannot be captured. And that is why we are hastening slowly so that we don't also commit the same mistakes. There are petitions from caterers who also cooked from 2016, 2017, who were not paid. And in trying to recruit people back, in fact, even if you are going to pay those caterers, we will not pay them with interest. And so we have to come up with pragmatic ways of ensuring that those people, I'm talking about payment, those people are not really worse affected. We want to make sure that the process considers their plight, and then also those who are just exiting will also not be affected. So in as much as possible, we are doing our best to ensure that all caterers under school feeding program are well catered for. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, my last, so we can make progress to 241, question 241. Honorable Minister, you keep using the word sustainability, that you are having challenges with sustaining the program. Are you having budgetary constraints? Is there a problem with the budgetary allocation for school feeding?
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, as I stand here, I cannot say I have budgetary allocation challenges, because when we came, the back lot that we found, you can call it a legacy debt that we found, we presented the budget to the finance minister, and the releases were made, and we're able to clear those debts. I can't remember the figure of head, but this, as we speak, I have not presented any budget or bill to the finance minister. Like I said, it's still being processed. If I present and the minister has challenges releasing funds, then I can come to this August House to support. But the allocation made for school feeding is good enough to sustain the program. When I talk about sustainability, I'm looking at all the quality assurance measures that we are putting in place, that with all our collective efforts, we'll be able to sustain it. And then we'll reduce the issues of delays in payments and then the breaks in feeding the children. Those are the measures I'm referring to. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, we'll move to the next question. Question numbered 147, standing in the name of Honorable Gloria Osu, MP for Trobu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to ask the Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection the measures the ministry is implementing to ensure that caterers are paid their outstanding arrears for the second term of the 2024-2025, given the abrupt termination of the contract for caterers under the Ghana School Feeding Program.
Question seems to be similar, but Honorable Minister, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I think it's similar to the previous questions. And so I want to once again use the opportunity to assure the honorable member that steps are being taken to ensure that all caterers who have served the children are paid. Thank you.
Once the questions are similar, do you have a supplementary?
Thank you, Speaker. Honorable Minister, can you give us some timelines the payment will be done?
Yes. Though this question have been asked and answered, you may repeat the answer for her.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Once again, when we are done with the due process, the validation and verification, when we've received all the needed data from the district level up to the regional level, the National Secretariat will take the needed steps to ensure that caterers are paid. Thank you.
Any further question?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Minister, your answer you gave it to us, Mr. Speaker, if you may indulge me to read that. Mr. Speaker, so far the data has been received from 10 regions from district school feeding, desk office, and the Ghana Education Service. So, Honorable Minister, I want to ask you, when are we getting the data of the 6 outstanding data regions?
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. As a matter of fact, my reference to the 10 regions is to let the House know that the data we have now is incomplete and we will not pay in tranches. We are paying all across board. And so once the other regions are in, we will ensure that the payment is done. Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker.
Yes.
Honorable Minister, can you please mention the region for us and when are they going to give us?
Well, the regions, if you know them often.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I don't have the regions offhand.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, quite strangely, Honorable Minister, who has given us information on record that there are 10 regions that have data ready in her text, but now is unable to furnish us with the 10. But we take her by her word. We believe that she'll be able to provide us this information at a later date. However, may I know from the Honorable Minister, in her earlier answer to the question as to whether there is sufficient budgetary allocation to sustain the school feeding, she indicated that yes, indeed, there is sufficient allocation for the school feeding program in the budget. May I know from Honorable Minister whether the existing number of schools that are being fed is being maintained or is being increased?
Well, Honorable Member, from the question, 10 schools are captured. It's now left with 6. Is that not
Mr.
your
Speaker,
question?
10 regions.
Yes.
10 is left with 6.
It's left with 6.
Very well. That is
the follow-up question was that, can she give the names of the 6?
We've crossed that.
She says she doesn't have it at hand.
Very well.
By your plea route to the question says 6.
Oh, no, that was...
say 10 instead of 6.
No, okay, very well. That's okay. So I want to know from you, from the sustainable point, you said there is sufficient budgetary allocation to sustain the program. May I know from you whether the allocation in the budget is in respect of the existing schools on the program you inherited, or that you have increased the number of schools?
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. The allocation in the budget is in respect of existing schools that are feeding. There's not been expansion. What the government did was to increase the payment from 1 cedi 50 pesos to 2 cedis. So it's been increased, but it's not been, the schools have not been expanded. Thank you.
Honorable Minister, regarding the data that you have, that the number of schools that you actually have on record is not being increased, may I know from you since you have no plans of increasing, you know,
Honorable Minority Leader, the minister never said they have no plan of increasing. You asked based on whether they are based on existing one or it has been increased. But if you say you have no plan of increasing, then you are putting words into, or you are stating what the minister have not said. Because we all listen to the answer.
okay. Mr. Speaker, thank you for your intervention. I'll put it in the correct perspective. Honorable Minister, it is your submission before this House, standing at the dispatch box, that the number of schools you came to meet have not increased. With that high expectation of Ghanaians regarding your promises that you were going to do 24-hour economy, 1 job, 3 shifts, and creating more jobs, would you say that you will commit to increasing the number of schools? Because definitely not all schools have been captured.
Yes, Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Obviously, that is the request of many districts, especially districts that were carved out of the bigger ones, because some have very low numbers experiencing or enjoying the school feeding program. The expansion is a discussion on the table, and I'm sure that at the right time, His Excellency, through the Finance Minister, will give us the needed go-ahead to consider more schools on board. But as we speak, we want to ensure that what we have is stabilized and the quality improved and sustained. Then we can take on more. We don't want to mix it up with what is rolling out now. So eventually, we'll get there. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, my very last on this. Honorable Minister, this expansion that you are talking about, I know there are a number of schools in the Volta region that are not on the school feeding program, a number of schools in Central region that are expecting consideration, Western North, etc., etc. With the mid-year review in sight, should these schools have any expectation?
Yes, Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. For this year, I don't see that happening, especially in the mid-year review, because there's a lot that has to be considered. We have a lot of data that means that speaks to the fact that if it's going to be rolled out, it should be more strategic and more targeted, because we are actually working towards the expansion, and it's going to be holistic. Thank you very much.